That's 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are God's true and only chosen people. And with that comes a responsibility of loving each other. And how do we learn to love each other? We learn to love each other through learning the law, statutes, and commandment, which is what this class is about today. You know what I'm saying? So we have this day coming up that this country loves so much called Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? People love Thanksgiving. The family comes together and they so-called enjoy each other's presence, but we all know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Some little child's getting molested, uncles and brothers are fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's wife is sleeping with some other man. It is a wicked and evil day. And not just that, what we're doing with it today, but it was made and motivated and inspired by wicked and atrocious acts throughout history, which is the killing of the Native American people. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to open up the class to some questions before I get into the law of what people do on Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it a bit. But if you got questions, it's good for you to write your questions down, then type them into class so you can get your questions answered, because there's a lot of questions that may be plaguing your mind. And if they don't get answered, you can get, who knows where this world can take you. You know what I'm saying? Questions are meant to be answered. That's why they're questions. There's always an answer. And believe me, for every question, the scriptures do have an answer. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a question, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to type them in so we can get it on in. You know what I'm saying? If you got any questions, type them on in. Any questions? All right, so there's no questions. I got questions. What do people do on Thanksgiving? What are they doing? So y'all can fully understand what I'm getting into today as I teach this class. What do people do on Thanksgiving? What's up, sis?
They cook food, they light up candles, they pray, and they basically eat turkey.
Not just eat turkey, they eat every and anything.
Yeah.
You put it on the table, they would eat anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm getting into now. What we are allowed to eat and what we are not allowed to eat. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not meant to be food. If so, that means we're food. You know what I'm saying? If everything's meant to be food, that means we are food. That means if little Andre eats little Becky, it's okay. That's not okay. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it. The way that you can best find our dietary laws is in Leviticus. Is where the best place you can find all our laws is in Leviticus. And I know y'all going to eat and destroy yourselves by adding sin onto sin. By for one, celebrating this wicked day, and joining hands with y'all heathens. Well, I mean with the heathens, joining hands with your enemies in celebration of your brother's death. But then you're going to add more sin onto that by devouring things you should not be devouring. You know what I'm saying? So, Salaki, sir, if you got Leviticus 11, Baba Kashaw, whenever you're ready. Because I'm still sharing. I got like 1 million groups, man.
Leviticus 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses.
This is the Lord's words. These ain't mine, but the Lord spoke unto Moses. And what did the Lord tell Moses?
And to Aaron, saying unto them.
And to Aaron. So Moses wasn't alone. You know what I'm saying? This job had to be spread out. May you continue?
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto who?
The children of Israel.
The Most High wants Moses and Aaron to give a law unto Israel. Remember, when the Most High is talking, telling one of his prophets and one of his priests to talk to Israel, believe me, it's a law coming down. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a law coming down. But may you continue with that, Baba Kashar, sir?
Saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat.
Now, these are the type of meats that we shall eat. I mean, we got a pretty long list of what we're able to eat. So I don't know why people are such in a rush to eat things that we're not allowed to eat. But may you continue with that, Baba Kashar, sir.
That are on the earth.
These are the beasts that we can eat that are on the earth. These are those four-legged animals that we can eat. You know what I'm saying? Those two-legged animals that we can eat. Whatever they are, you know what I'm saying? This is what we can eat when it comes to the beast of these fields. You know what I'm saying? May you continue, Baba Kashar, sir?
Verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed.
Whatever parteth the hoof or is cloven footed. You know what I'm saying? They got to part the hoof and be cloven footed to be able to be ate. You know what I'm saying? If it's not parting the hoof and if it's not cloven footed, you know what I'm saying? If it got like a solid hoof like a horse, you know what I'm saying? Or if it got paws, or if it got feet, then it cannot be eaten. What's up, sis?
When in my old church, my pastor used to say that Thanksgiving is about we should give thanks that God, that what God gave us for food.
We should be thankful what God. See, that's what this book is about right here. Leviticus 11 is showing you what God actually did give us for food. That's what it's showing you. You know what I'm saying? But Thanksgiving has never been about that. Thanksgiving has always been about the celebration of the slaughter of the Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? When you're in school, they talk about how the native people helped them survive in the American tundra during the winter, how them get through the winter, show them how to plant corn and, you know what I'm saying, hunt and harvest and fish. But let me tell you something. They already knew how to do that. The most cunning hunter on the planet is our enemy. Is those people who came over here on the Santa Maria and the Pinta and whatever other boat they came in on. You know what I'm saying? They already knew how to do that. And for one, if that did happen, what type of payment did they give the natives? Slaughter. So these people help you survive the winter and you still going to slaughter them? That's the type of evil that our enemy is anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of evil people that they are as a nation. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust none of them. But Salakia, may you continue that, Baba Kashar, sir?
Verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed.
Continue.
And cheweth cud.
And cheweth cud. What y'all need to understand what cud is it's an animal that has two stomachs. One stomach, you know what I'm saying, the food is partially digested and regurgitated back in the mouth, and then it swallows it and it goes down to another stomach to be finished being digested. You know what I'm saying? Cows do that. Goat do that. You know what I'm saying? Horses don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Pigs don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Pigs, though they may be cloven-footed. Pigs are cloven-footed. But they do not chew up the cud. So we can't eat them. You know what I'm saying? We can't eat pork. In fact, Salaki, sir, if you can on the internet, can you pull up Healthline
Healthline.
Healthline. In their search box, put Pork 101.
In the search box, put Pork 101.
Yeah, go in the search box and put, in Healthline they got a search box on the side.
Oh, I see.
Put Pork 101.
Okay. Which one?
Huh?
Which one am I looking for?
Did Pork 101 come up? It's
Got it.
subtitled Nutrition, Facts, and Health Effects.
Okay. Let's see. Yep, got it.
All right, now underneath that, underneath the title, there is some subcategories. Can you put bring up heart disease? We're gonna go into some of these health issues that mostly Black and Hispanic people get from eating pork. Let's get into heart disease for a little bit. Okay.
Pork and heart disease. Heart disease is the main cause of premature death worldwide.
Continue.
It includes adverse conditions like heart attacks,
Remember,
strokes.
Remember, heart disease is the main cause of people dying before they are meant to die. This is a big killer. It most likely is second to abortions. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the main ways people die. May you continue with that, Baba Kasha?
It includes adverse conditions like heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure.
Those are some of the ways that heart disease come about. Continue.
Observational studies on red meat and heart disease have found mixed results.
Continue.
Some studies show an increased risk for both processed and unprocessed red meat. Many an increased risk for processed meat only, while others have not found any significant link.
He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Our enemy is a wise and cunning person. He's going to tell you the truth and feed you doubt at the same time. Cause all types of confusion. He is the Lord of confusion. But may you continue?
There is no clear-cut evidence that meat itself causes heart disease.
Continue.
Observational studies only reveal associations that cannot provide evidence for a direct cause and effect relationship.
Continue.
It is clear that a high meat intake is linked to unhealthy lifestyle factors.
Like what? Remember unhealthy lifestyle factors. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, what you consume is a lifestyle factor. You know what I'm saying? Healthy or unhealthy is all the same. Continue.
Such as low consumption of fruit and vegetables, less physical activity, smoking, and overeating.
It just said smoking. It didn't say what you're smoking, so all you weed smokers just know you're helping yourself get heart disease. But continue.
Most observational studies try to correct for these factors.
Continue.
One popular hypothesis links the cholesterol and saturated fat content of meat to an increased risk of a heart disease.
So repeat that.
One popular hypothesis links the cholesterol and saturated fat content of meat to an increased risk of heart disease.
Now, they've had some studies that said they're not sure if pork is linked to heart disease, but they would tell you at the same time that cholesterol and saturated fat is some of the leading causes to heart disease. You know what I'm saying? It increases your risk of heart disease. And guess what? Pork is one of the leading causes of, meats that have the most saturated fat and cholesterol. If it's cured or uncured, has some of the highest causes of cholesterol and saturated fat. So yes, there's a direct between pork and heart disease. May you continue?
However, dietary cholesterol has little or no effect on cholesterol levels in most people, and many scientists don't consider it a health concern.
there's plenty of cholesterol types out there. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of cholesterol types, but not all cholesterol is bad. But Salaki, can you go down to scroll down to adverse effects and individual concerns?
Adverse effects and individual concerns. Eating raw or undercooked pork should be avoided, especially in developing countries.
Continue.
That's because raw pork may contain several types of parasites that can infect humans.
Several type of parasites. You go into that restaurant, y'all getting that bacon, that pork chops and all this, you know what I'm saying? Nana getting no, she ain't cooking the meat right on top of that. You know what I'm saying? And these are some of the parasites that can enter into your body from eating pork. Now believe me, I ain't bringing out the science to say that it's an excuse to follow the law. No. The only excuse you need to follow the law is that the Most High told you to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only excuse you need. But some of y'all just hard-headed and think that there's nothing bad from pork. I'm just trying to ruin your holiday. That's all I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, can you continue that?
You want the pork tapeworm?
Come. Just like the first section right there.
The pork tapeworm is an intestinal parasite. It sometimes reaches the length of 6.5 to 10 feet.
You heard that? Tapeworm in your stomach that's 6 to 10 feet long. You know what those tapeworms do? It causes all types of diseases like cysticercosis. I don't know how to pronounce it. Cysticercosis, trichinosis, and a whole bunch of nosis. You know what I'm saying? That's what these type of tapeworm do. You know what I'm saying? Besides eating the food that you're eating, now you're going to try to overeat and you're still losing weight and you're dying, starving, all because you wanted to eat some pork. Or may you drop down to parasitic roundworms? Just a little, just right underneath it.
Right under that one?
Yeah. Because these are some of the health problems that you get from pork.
Parasitic roundworms. Trichinella is a family of parasitic roundworms that cause a disease known as trichinosis.
Trichinosis. You don't want that. You don't want that. We could get to that later. But you can get trichinosis. You can get all types of diseases from these tapeworms, and that's all from eating pork. You know what I'm saying? Undercooked or cooked, because there's been studies on pork out there, period. How you can have a fully cooked piece of pork and it still develop the tapeworm. And those scientific studies are actually on YouTube. You can actually see it in high speed. You know what I'm saying? You can see the worm just crawling out of a fully cooked piece of pork in high speed. I would do that to y'all right now, but I ain't gonna do it because of the sake of time. You know what I'm saying? But may you scroll down a little further to toxoplasmosis.
Toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis gondii is the scientific name of a parasitic protozoan, a single-cell animal only visible in a microscope.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us got that now. Continue that.
It's found worldwide and estimated to be present in approximately 1/3 of all humans.
1/3 of all humans got that. Let me tell you this. The majority of that 1/3 that got that is black and Hispanic people. Guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Guaranteed. Should I go any further? Nah, I'm not even gonna go any further. Salaki, sir, stay in on Healthline and go back to the what's the name? Search bar.
Yep.
And put in 4 hidden dangers of pork. And this is a good source for health information. It even shows the sources that it's getting this information from. Not just shows it, but links you to them. Links you to the sources.
Okay, which one am I looking for exactly?
It should be called 4 Hidden Dangers of Pork.
Pork, right? Is pork bad for you? 4 hidden dangers?
Yeah.
Four hidden dangers of pork. Among foods,
Slide, skip all that. That's just a bunch of, hoopla.
Yeah.
Drop down on the first hidden danger.
Hepatitis E.
Cancer.
Hepatitis E. Thanks to the revival of nose-to-tail eating.
From the rooter to the tutor. That's how y'all gonna be eating that pig on Thanksgiving, from the rooter to the tutor. And guess what you could get? Guess what you could get? You got your nose all up in that pig's butt. Guess what you getting? Hepatitis E. I never even knew there was an E.
You keep going.
Can you continue?
Ofal has redeemed itself among health enthusiasts, especially liver, which is prized for its vitamin A content and massive mineral lineup.
Ofal is animal liver. Continue.
But when it comes to pork, liver might be risky business.
Well, eating that pork liver might be risky business, but eating pork altogether is risky business. Continue.
In developed nations, pork liver is the top food-based transmitter of hepatitis E.
Continue.
A virus that infects 20 million people each year and could lead to acute illness, fever, fatigue, jaundice.
Jaundice. Almost every black baby's born with jaundice nowadays. Continue.
Vomiting, joint pain, and stomach pain, enlarged liver, and sometimes liver failure and death.
That sounds good. Death is certain. Believe me, death is certain. Eating pork, you're gonna die, one way or another. Continue that.
Most hepatitis E cases are stealthily symptom-free.
You won't even know that you have it. You won't even know that you got hepatitis E. You're gonna be walking around with it. I don't even know if it's contagious or not. They don't even really get into it. You know what I'm saying? But you just walking around with no symptoms while your liver is enlarging. You got fatigue, fever. You might even just think you're tired. You know what I'm saying? All sluggish and everything. And you walking around with hepatitis E. Continue with that, Baba Kushal, sir?
Most hepatitis E cases are stealthily symptom-free, but pregnant women can experience violent reactions to the virus.
Continue.
Including fulminant hepatitis, rapid onset liver failure,
Wow.
and a high risk of both maternal and fetal mortality.
I mean, the mother and the baby could die. You know what I'm saying? The mother and the baby could die. But let's drop that one. Let's scroll down a little bit to the next hidden danger, which was a complete shock to me.
Cut it out. Multiple sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis is connected to pork. It's a hidden danger. You know what I'm saying? And us blacks are the leading people of multiple sclerosis. We have multiple sclerosis more than any other nation on this planet. You know what I'm saying? May you read that, Baba Kushal, sir?
One of the most surprising risks associated with pork, one that's received remarkably little airtime.
It's received little airtime. Nobody even making it known. Know why they ain't making it known? Because it's against God's law for us blacks and Hispanics to eat pork. So seeing how it's against our law to eat it, they're gonna make it hidden so we can eat it, and then we end up being number one in multiple sclerosis. See, the law is meant for us. The law is meant for us blacks and Hispanic people, and we are the ones breaking it. Since we're breaking it, we end up with multiple sclerosis. That's what we end up with. You know what I'm saying? May you continue that, Bob Kashaw, sir?
Is multiple sclerosis, MS, a devastating autoimmune condition involving the central nervous system?
Shuts down your whole nervous system. Continue.
The robust link between pork and MS has been known at least since the 1980s.
Now, understand these words that they're using. The robust link between pork and MS, robust, means that this is a very known thing. It is loud, it is big, it is obvious. You know what I'm saying? And that link between pork and MS has been known since the 80s. And why am I just now learning about this a few hours ago? Because our enemy is very slick. He's very tricky. But y'all gonna be slapping that pork down your mouths like it's nothing. And if you don't believe we're number one in MS, you can go to the MS Foundation, and they got a whole section on African Americans in MS. What they call it? I got it linked up here. MS, National MS Society or something like that. We are number one in multiple sclerosis, all because you want to chomp down on some pork on Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and whenever else of the day. Can't have a sandwich without bacon. A sandwich don't make sense without bacon. I understand. I used to be that. It needed cheese and bacon. Without that, it wasn't a sandwich. They don't need the bread. Just wrap the cheese around the bacon, and I was happy.
God.
You know what I'm saying? And that leads to all types of health issues. You know what I'm saying? You want to eat pork, and you want to be like these other nations where you can eat what you want. Guess what? The Lord ain't having it. May you continue with that, Bible show?
The robust link between pork and MS, the robust link between pork and MS has been known at least since the 1980s, when researchers analyzed the relationship between per capita pork consumption and MS across dozens of countries.
What it means by relationship between per capita pork consumption, that means where it's being consumed at the most and how it relates to MS. You know what I'm saying?
God.
Like, these people in the ghettos, they eat pork like crazy because at one point, it was the cheapest meat you can buy. You know what I'm saying? Now beef bacon's cheaper than pork bacon because they're going to make that money. We're hooked to pork bacon now, so they could up that price as high as they want. You're going to look at that beef bacon and roll your eyes and be like, nah, I'm good. Let me stick to what my mama gave me. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So now they see that people who are eating pork the most are more likely to have MS. And it wasn't like a more likely thing, it was almost guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Almost guaranteed. May you continue that, Bible Show?
While pork-averse nations like Israel and India were nearly spared from MS degenerative grips, more liberal consumers such as West Germany and Denmark faced sky-high rates.
Like West Germany and Denmark, like pork is like their main food. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's our main food. But guess what? Even though those whole countries eat pork like darn near daily, we still got more MS than they. We still have it more than they do. Because the law's for us. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, these countries that don't eat pork barely even got it, if not at all. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see anybody with MS in Saudi Arabia. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, let's drop that. Let's go down to the next Yeah, they got a lot on the MS thing.
What do you want to get?
Number 3, liver cancer and cirrhosis. I know I heard that word before. I never actually seen it. Cirrhosis of the liver. I heard it many a times. Never actually seen the word spelled.
Liver cancer and cirrhosis. Liver problems tend to trail closely on the heels of some predictable risk factors, namely hepatitis B and C infection.
Basically, most likely get liver cancer and cirrhosis if you got hepatitis B and C.
Go wash your
But
face.
you know what I'm saying? With the hepatitis B and C, there's many ways you can get that. But guess what? We already read you could get hepatitis E from eating pork. Maybe that could destroy your liver too. Give you liver cancer and liver cirrhosis. But may you continue?
Namely hepatitis B and C infection, exposure to aflatoxin, a carcinogen produced by mold, and excessive alcohol intake.
Continue.
But buried in the scientific literature.
Buried in the scientific literature. We don't want this to come out. You know what I'm saying? This cannot be known. This got to be a secret. Buried. Continue.
Is another potential scourge of liver health. Pork.
Pork is a scourge of liver health. It is a scourge. You know what I'm saying? Besides it's being a scourge on heart disease, it's a scourge on liver health too. You know what I'm saying? But that's what y'all gonna be consuming on this Thanksgiving, all hustling around the table, holding hands, listening, saying words that God's not listening to. You know what I'm saying? All because y'all want to consume some pork. All because y'all want to be with our enemies and celebrate the things our enemies celebrate because it looks so fun. Grow up. Salaki. Continue.
A carcinogen produced by mold and excessive alcohol intake. Salaki. Next one, right? For decades, pork consumption has faithfully echoed liver cancer.
Faithfully echoed liver cancer. Continue.
And cirrhosis rates around the world. In multi-county analysis, the correlation between pork and cirrhosis mortality.
Salaki, sir. Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis?
Yeah.
Salaki. Cirrhosis mortality clocked in at 0.4 using 1965 data.
That math I ain't going to get all up into. But let's drop down to the last one.
In those same, the last
Yeah, I don't even know this
paragraph?
word, but it sounds scary when I did a little study in Yersinia. I don't even know what Yersinia is, but I did a little studying on that, and that joint does not look fun.
Oh, Yersinia, section 4. For years, pork's precautionary motto was, well done or bust. A consequence of fears about trichinosis, a type of roundworm infection that ravaged pork consumers throughout much of the 20th century.
So basically, this roundworm infection has become rampant in the 20th century, you know, the 19, whatevers. And this tapeworm was giving trichinosis like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just because you want to eat pork. You know what I'm saying? This roundworm was giving trichinosis and that was killing off people. You know what I'm saying? But may you continue with that?
Thanks to changes in feeding practices, farm hygiene, and quality control, pig-borne trichinosis has dropped off the radar.
It only dropped off the radar because even our enemy is darn near burning the pork now. It's probably the only meat he eats well done. You know what I'm saying? It's safer because, they believe that if you darn near, do that, least likely a chance that tapeworm would survive that heat. But tapeworm can survive that heat. It has been seen. That's why it only trickled down. You know, restaurants do not undercook pork at all. You can't get no rare pork chops or medium rare pork chops in no restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So what made it drop off, but it's still around, is because it's still coming from pork. Tapeworm can survive that heat. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, sir, may you continue?
Thanks to changing the feeding practice, Salaki, inviting pink pork back into the menu. But pork's relaxed heat rules may have opened the doors for a different type of infection.
A whole different type of infection. Like, hey, y'all think y'all beat that tapeworm, huh? Y'all think y'all beat that tapeworm? See, the Most High is no joke. You think you're going to get around something, you're going to introduce something new.
Khan, and if I may, Salaki, it's like brothers and sisters trying to beat the whole cigarette thing with vapes.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you know, newsflash, vape is probably more harmful than cigarettes because it kills you a lot quicker.
You end up getting bubble lungs and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, not bubble lungs, they call it popcorn lungs, which you end up dying from instantly. Like, you could instantly die from vaping.
So
you know what I'm saying? So you thought you were getting something healthier. You thought you were doing something right, but guess what? The Most High is no joke. You trying to find ways to get around it's not smoke, it's vapor. Yeah, that vapor now turning your lungs, putting all types of air pockets in your lungs, and now you feel like you're drowning. You're drowning in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? You can't even breathe properly. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, continue that, Baba Kushal.
Your serniosis.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Your serniosis. Notice I got sin in there. Your serniosis, which is caused by Yersinia bacteria. In the U.S. alone, Yersinia causes 35 deaths and almost 117,000 cases of food poisoning each year.
Each year, people are dying from this new bacteria that is made from pork. You know what I'm saying? Thousands are getting sick. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands are getting sick from eating this pork. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, let's drop that. Let's get back into Leviticus 11, Baba Kushal. Now, the Most High makes laws for reasons. And it's not good to question the reason. I'm not trying to promote that. What I'm trying to do is put some fear in your heart. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do is no different from saying that the wages of sin is death. You know what I'm saying? And eating pork is a wage of sin. And guess what it is? It is death. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, sir. May you
Leviticus 11, verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat, of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel.
The camel, it chews the cud, it divides the hoof, but guess what? Continue.
Salaki, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof.
Yep. Camel got like a horse foot. You know what I'm saying? It's not divided. It got like a horse foot. That's why you can't eat horse, you can't eat camels, you can't eat pig, because you got to have the combination of chewing of the cud and having the split in the hoof or being cloven footed. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that combination. You can't be eating rabbit. You can't be eating, you know what I'm saying, all types of other nasty abominations out there. But there's plenty that we can eat. You could tear that goat down. That lamb you could tear down. That deer you could tear down. Deer is delicious. You know what I'm saying?
Is that venison?
Yeah, venison, yep.
Come.
Deer is delicious. You know what I'm saying? You can tear down that chicken. You know what I'm saying? That elk. All those things. You know what I'm saying? You can tear them down. But guess what? All of that pig that your grandma got plans on roasting that ham, guess what? That's going to end up giving you Yersinia and trichinosis and multiple sclerosis and a whole bunch of oses.
A whole bunch of stuff with sin inside.
Right?
A whole bunch of names with sin.
Right? Just reminding you that you messed up. Just a reminder. You can't even say your disease to anybody without being reminded you sinned.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? It's your sin, but it's really you sin. Yersinia? No, you sin. You know what I'm saying? But Salakia, continue with that Bible Kushal, sir. Actually, drop down to 6.
Leviticus 11, verse 6. In the hair, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
Hair's got paws, man. They don't got no hoof. You know what I'm saying? They got paws. Why y'all want to eat bugs anyway? What bugs do to y'all? Y'all laughing. A lot of people be eating rabbits. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's out here. Because the other nations were doing it, and the Lord knows we like following the other nations. So don't do what the other nations do. Don't be eating no rabbits. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all in the South be eating rabbits and squirrels and all that other nasty stuff. Stop eating the rabbits and the squirrels, man. Stop eating the raccoons and the possums. They are unclean to you.
That's pretty, Salakia, that's, if I may, that's pretty big in the South, right?
Huh?
That's pretty big in the South, right?
Yeah, it's big in the South.
Raccoons and possums?
Yep. Raccoons, possums, and all that, that's very big in the South.
Come.
They eat all types of madness out there. You know what I'm saying?
Come.
But it's weird. That's why, you know, our southern brothers and sisters be looking mad ill. You know what I'm saying? Because they are eating things that they should not be eating. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, may you continue with that Bible Kushal, sir?
Verse 7. And the swine.
And the what?
And the swine.
What is swine, y'all? Who knows what swine is?
Porky.
Exactly. That's Wilbur. That's a little Piggly Wiggly. You know what I'm saying? That's Porky. You can't be eating the pig. It is so important not to eat the pig that is literally, I mean, just from the instructions of the chewing of the cud and the cloven-footed, you should know not to eat it. But Most I had to bring it out specifically. You know what I'm saying? Has to point out the rabbit. He has to point out the pig. And let's hear why we can't eat the pig. Salaki, sir, if you may.
This might break some hearts.
I'm trying to.
Though he divided the hoof.
Though he divided the hoof. We all know that the pig got a little split in his hoof. You know what I'm saying? May you continue?
And be cloven-footed.
And be cloven-footed. You know what I'm saying? Because the hoof is split. It got a little thing in the back of its, you know, little wiggly little thumb in the back of its little hoof. Continue.
Yet he cheweth not the cud.
Yeah, he cheweth not the cud. He don't regurgitate his own food and chew it again. In fact, he will eat anything one time and that's it. It's going right through him. You know what I'm saying? But may you continue?
He is unclean unto you.
He is unclean unto you. So you eating the pig, you are unclean to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Not just unclean, but you straight up sinning. Straight up and down. See, it's unclean to us because if we eat it, it's unclean. But we are literally sinning because the Most High told us not to do it. You know what I'm saying? But may you continue, Bob Kushal, sir?
Of their flesh shall you not eat.
You should not be eating their flesh. Continue.
And their carcass shall you not touch.
And their carcass we should not touch. Matter of fact, we should not be eating their flesh. You know that what they call it, chitlins and all that other stuff. The hog maw, the ribs, the bacon. We should not be eating that. But guess what? We can't even be preparing it. We can't even be preparing it. But I know we are in slavery. So there's brothers who are actually professional chefs who are forced to prepare pork. Triple up on your gloves, brothers. Triple up on your gloves or something. You know what I'm saying? But continue that, Baba Kushal, sir.
They are unclean unto you.
Continue.
These shall you eat of all that are in the waters.
This is what you can eat that's in the water. Now we're going into what's in the water that we can eat. You know what I'm saying? The seafood. Let's see what we can eat of the seafood. May you continue?
Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters.
Whatever has fins and scales in the water, that's what we can eat. If y'all see, I was talking to some fool about a few months back. He thought I was uneducated in food. I mean, look at the size of me. I'm very educated in food. And he tried to bring up the fact that shrimp has scales. Right? Look at your face. I was like, nah, shrimp don't have scales. There's a difference between a scale and an exoskeleton. You're like, what's the difference between a scale and an exoskeleton? See, as you see, fish have scales, but guess what they also have? A skeleton. Shrimp has an exoskeleton.
Yes.
No different from a crab. Exoskeleton. They don't have any bones on the inside. Their bone is the outside. You know what I'm saying? No different from the lobster. You know what I'm saying? The mussels. Actually, no, mussels don't have exoskeleton. They got a shell. You know what I'm saying? But scales, it must have. That means it has to have scales. It has to have a bone.
That's
If y'all get confused.
If I may, right?
Count out of one count.
That's the other debate, is tuna.
Tuna don't have scales over its whole body.
Scales is something that you should be able to determine by looking at it.
Yeah. Like back in the day where they actually looked at the tuna that much. I don't even think they were hunting tuna back then. You know how big tuna is?
You gotta be out to sea for that.
Exactly. Tuna's too big to be hunting. Our ancestors was not hunting tuna. I don't even know if there's tuna around that region.
Yeah, exactly.
But check it out like this. I've been to the ports over there, you know what I'm saying? In the Mass Bay. I seen freshly caught tuna.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I seen it. They don't have scales. And they catching the full grown ones. See what it is? I studied the cycle of the tuna. When it is born, it has some scales around its head. But as it grows, the scales fall out. And it has a few scales, and it's only around the head. It's not around the body, which is the part that we eat. You gotta be a southern black man to eat the head. I don't eat fish head. Sorry. I'm not from the islands and I'm not from the south. I'm not eating no fish head. I don't want to eat nothing that's looking back at me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Salaki, that's an island thing.
I'm sorry, that's not the way I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all want to worry about where the scales are located, then just eat the head. I bet you won't. Do you know what's in that can? You know what part of the body that can came from? Was it the scaled part or the non-scaled part? You don't know. So it's safer to stay away from things that you're not sure of. But we know this for sure. There's no scales on the real tuna. Albacore, there's many different types of tuna. Yellow fins, all of them, there's no scale on none of them. None of them. You know what I'm saying? And if they so hard bent on tuna, show me in the scriptures where they were fishing for tuna. Show me where tuna swims at in that region. Last I checked, tuna is a cold fish, a cold water fish. That water over there ain't cold.
You need how big are tunas? How big is the tuna?
Woo!
Big, right? Huge.
Big, huge, 200 pounds, 300 pounds. 200 pounds is the average weight. You know what I'm saying? They could grow to like average 8 to 10 feet long. They're not small fish. To the least bit, they're not small fish. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like salmon. Salmon ain't small, but they're not big.
Let me tell you something. Next time, if this goes for anyone, you know, that comes across someone that is combative against this dietary law and trying to justify certain foods, I'm gonna tell you something. If someone says, "Why shouldn't we eat?" Why shouldn't we eat tuna? Why shouldn't we eat pork? Give them two answers. First answer is because it's in the Bible.
The Lord says so.
Second answer is because we said so. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the second answer. I just wanted to bring that up because at the end of the day, if it ain't coming from my mouth, then listen.
What you're saying is so heavy because the simple fact is we are the only authority when it comes to these scriptures. The ISUBK is the only authority on this earth when it comes to these scriptures. And we know it better than anybody else on this planet. You know what I'm saying? There is thousands of hours of research throughout the years by multiple brothers who collide together to research if tuna has scales or not.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We research things. We ain't just saying things just to say it. You know what I'm saying? We had questions like this pop up at some point in class. You know what I'm saying? So questions got to be asked. Like, I'm going to ask a question on Thursday. I'm going to put the question out here first. You know what I'm saying? Since chicken is lawful, and we all know it is, there's a big giant version of a chicken which is called an ostrich. Is it lawful? Because I'm seeing it on menus now. I'm seeing ostrich on menus. I want to know if it's lawful or not. You know what I'm saying? So we got men that's greater than us who are more skilled and more knowledgeable than us that I could go to and ask those questions. And y'all have us. So if we tell you that eating tuna is wrong, guess what? It's wrong. Because it don't have scales and it has fins, but it don't have scales. And that's another thing. He's like, shrimp has scales and fins. No, that's an exoskeleton. Remember that. There's a difference between an exoskeleton and scales. But may you continue that, Baba Kashar, sir.
Verse 9. Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall you eat.
Them shall you eat. You know what I'm saying? Them shall you eat. That is a beautiful thing right there. You know what I'm saying? Because there are things out there that we should not be eating. Here's a question. Time for some questions. Does mussels have skins and fins? Does oysters have skins and fins and scales? You know what I'm saying? Does your crab have skins and scales and fins? No. All these crustaceans and shellfish do not have fins and scales. So guess what? You can't eat it. What about catfish? Catfish have fins and scales? No, they don't. No, they don't. And you got to study what you eat. Because there's a lot of fish out there that y'all eat that doesn't have fins and scales. That they serve at every fish market, and y'all tear down like the Lord allowed it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might be serving it up for Thanksgiving next Thursday. You know what I'm saying? But Salakia, may you continue with that, Baba Kashar, sir?
And all that have not fins nor scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, They shall be an abomination unto you.
They shall be an abomination unto you. Slack you. I was going to go into the no blood and the fried food, but I just noticed the time. Can you get 2 Maccabees 7? Start with 1. I'm going to show y'all how serious our dietary laws were. Let me show y'all how serious it was when a woman is willing to give up not just her life, but all her kids' lives not to eat pork. Y'all don't have that strength nowadays. There's not a woman on this planet that has that strength nowadays. Let their baby cry for some bacon. They be like, "I'll just get the baby some bacon." It ain't gonna kill him. Oh yeah, it is. It is gonna kill him. It's gonna kill him by the hands of the Most High because you were too weak. Unlike this woman, you were too weak to protect your child and uphold this law that the Most High gave us. You know what I'm saying? But Salakia, if you got that, Bible Shaw said.
2 Maccabees chapter 7. And it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken.
7 brothers and their mother were taken. Continue.
Compelled by the king against the law to taste swine flesh.
Just to taste it. Just to taste the next white meat. Well, remind you, it's not really white meat. Pork is technically red meat in the nutritional definition of what's red and what's white meat. Know why? Because of what it contains. Its nutritional value is high in iron and high in protein like all other red meats are. You know what I'm saying? But may you continue.
But and were tormented with scourges and whips.
They were beaten and scourged to eat the swine's flesh, and they stood up like Jesus said. What? Continue.
But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us?
Continue.
We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
Now that is some gangster stuff. One of the boys stood up and said, "Yo, we'd rather die." Like, why are y'all even asking us to do it? Y'all should know that we would rather die than to transgress the laws of our Father. Know why? Because falling into the hands of man don't mean nothing compared to falling into the hands of the Most High. I'd rather be shot in the head than to transgress his laws. Because transgressing his laws, man, that's how you end up with multiple sclerosis. That's how you end up with trichinosis. That's how you end up with yersiniosis, or whatever else it's called. Because you want to transgress the Most High's law, you in the hell. You get to a point where you can't even hold your own bowels and start defecating on yourself because you want to eat pork. Oh yeah, that's some of the signs of trichinosis. You get trichinosis, yeah, you will start defecating yourself. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, may you continue that?
Verse 3, Then the king being in a rage.
King's upset now. Like, hold on, they turning down pork? I asked them to eat pork. What's so hard about eating pork? All you gotta do is taste it. I'm not asking you to eat the whole thing, just taste it. Continue.
Commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
Uh-oh. Now this is something that might bug y'all out, but this wasn't the last time they decided to put black and Hispanic people in pans and cauldrons. We were cooked in slavery. In the slavery that we're in right now, in the transatlantic slave trade, they cooked us, they put us in hot pans and cauldrons, boiled us, and not just that, they actually burned us alive. They tarred and feathered us. This is nothing. This is what these heathens do. This is what our enemies do. And this is a Greek king right here. Y'all know who the Greeks are, right? They are our enemies. May you continue, Baba Kushaw?
Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first.
Now that brother that stood up and said, we'd rather die than break the laws of the Most High, guess what he did? He cut out his tongue just for speaking those words. That king hated our Lord, just like the kings like Donald Trump does today. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump has that same feeling today. That's why he's building the Space Force. May he continue, Baba Krishan?
And to cut off the uttermost part of his body.
To cut up the uttermost parts of his body. You know what I'm saying? That means arm, leg, arms, head. He's dismembered. All because he didn't want to eat pork. He wanted to have his body dismembered. You know what I'm saying? May he continue?
The rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
And the rest of his brother and his mother see this. Now this woman had to see her son get dismembered because they didn't want to eat pork, because they wanted to uphold the laws of the Lord. That is a righteous woman right there. Those were some righteous men willing to die. Y'all can't even stand up for anything about the Lord. Yeah? What? Stop smoking? Oh, no. Smoking is A-okay. You know, it helps with my anxiety. It comes from the earth. Eating pork. What you mean eating pork? Pork is delicious. Been eating pork my whole life. I ain't got a heart attack yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people were willing to die. And what are you willing to do? Uphold your enemy's tradition. You're willing to follow that king. You're willing to follow your enemy to spare your own life. They were willing to lose theirs. You're willing to keep yours. Continue.
And Slaki. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him being yet alive to be brought to the fire.
Now this brother was still alive. This brother was still alive, all messed up and everything. But he was still alive and kicking. And the king noticed that. And guess what the king did? Read that again.
And as the Slaki, and brought him to the fire and to be fried in the pan.
Brought him to the fire to be fried in the pan. They fried that brother. All because he didn't want to eat pork. See how disgusting our enemies are? See how disgusting they are? We can't even uphold the Lord's law even today. Even today. Without being scourged and ridiculed. You know what I'm saying? But they were willing to die. And the only men that's willing to die for these law, statutes, commandments today are the men and the women of the ISUPK. That's it. The Christian pastor will feed you pork directly. You know what I'm saying? May you continue?
Vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed. They exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus.
Now the mother, she had to get the rest of the boys prepared. She had to give them that good old coach hoorah. Like, it's about that time. We about to lose our lives today. We about to lose our lives for these law, statutes, and commandments. And those men were willing to. They were willing to die for it. Are you willing to die for it? Nope. Nope. You're not willing to die. You're going to keep those dreads. You're going to keep that pork. You're going to keep smoking weed. You're going to keep doing all types of drugs and manner of evil because the simple fact is you're too weak to keep the Lord's law. May you continue that, Baba Krishan?
The Lord, verse 6, the Lord God looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants.
Continue.
So when the first was dead, after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head,
they scout this brother. Pulled the skin off his head. Oh man, he's evil. He is evil. May he continue?
And when, Salaki, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body?
They asking him, will he eat this pork before he die? May he continue?
But he answered in his own language and said, no.
He answered in his own language and said, la'ah, no. He is not eating that pork. He's willing to die. He's willing to die. Continue.
Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did.
He got the same thing his older brother got. Dismembered and tortured and fried in that frying pan. Continue.
And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world should raise us up, who have died for his laws, unto everlasting life.
That is heavy right there. And this is before Christ. You know what I'm saying? But they knew who the King of the world was. And they knew he was coming. And they knew they were going to be raised back up. You know what I'm saying? That goes into a deeper subject about being raised back up. They ain't talking about ghosts coming out of the ground. No zombies or nothing like that. Nothing spooky. It's talking about these spirits being back on these earths. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. But Salaki, can you drop, for the sake of time, can you drop down to verse 39?
Verse 39. Then the king, being enraged, handled him worse than all the rest.
Now the king being enraged, now he killed all the children except for one. And the king being enraged because none of these dudes are scared of the king enough to eat this pork. They seen the king dismantle and destroy his other brothers. He knows he's next, and he still will not bow to the king and eat that pork. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't need no type of motivation. Y'all will willingly eat the pork. You know what I'm saying? May you continue?
Verse 40. Salaki. And took it grievously that he was mocked. So, verse 40. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord.
Yeah, I'm right. Continue.
Last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
All the sons have died, and guess what? The mother had to go too. Because she motivated her sons to follow along. Guess what? She was going to follow them too.
That's right.
Like a righteous woman should. You know what I'm saying? May you finish that off, the last John 42?
Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast.
The what?
The idolatrous feast.
Thanksgiving is that idolatrous feast. Because y'all have all types of pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, all types of disgusting things that are against the Lord going on that day. So it's an idolatrous feast. It's a feast to another God because it's not a feast unto our Lord. You know what I'm saying? Continue that, Baba Kashan?
Chapter 8?
No. And the extreme.
And the extreme tortures.
Just remember these extreme tortures. You know what I'm saying? These brothers were willing to lose their life to uphold this law. They were tortured to do so. Why ain't you willing to do the same? But for the sake of time, we want to end the class, and with that, shalom.